So we're going to kind of expand into co-working here as well and talk about some of the technology. Here's another view from the Connect space last night. I mean, I love that there really was this variety of spaces. If you needed a table, if you wanted a little bit more relaxing seat, when you wanted a nook, you wanted a phone booth, you wanted more of an office space, you had a couple different conference rooms. I can see how that would be very appealing. So tell us a little bit about the software you're using to help enable co-working, and tell me when you want me to kind of start the little demo here.
Sure. Is there video recorded with it?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Sorry about all my tabs up there. That was a legit screenshot. So this is just a dashboard for Nexodus for anybody interested in looking at a revenue management software for co-working if you are adding these spaces to your properties. And as you can see, it's really user friendly. And what I love about it is that it sends a lot of nudge alerts to the customer. And then we can go and track day pass, VIP passes. In the summertime, we do pool passes for people that want to come to a cool pool and right in Midtown, and they can get that. You can see right on the dashboard there where you have an invoicing, we have your contracts ending, and then you see your memberships finance. It's just really user friendly for all the reporting, because this is such a new concept under our business model that we're really constantly looking at the ups and downs of where we need to do. And then this is really what Nexodus does is, it maximizes your resources by automating your operations. People can go right on the mobile, right from the website under memberships, and pick a floating co-working desk. They can upgrade to a conference room. They can see what's available that day if the conference room's already booked. And they can do it right from their phone, scan a QR code, and have that access.
And is this kind of specific to just kind of the co-working space, or does this flow over into?
Yeah, this is separate for co-working. Yeah, the demos we did with some of the the multifamily co-working softwares like Yardi Cube, for example. We looked at that, but there wasn't a way to instantly sign your terms and agreements, your lease, and get started. You had to go through like a DocuSign. And I really wanted to keep everything under one roof. It's like, if you go sign a lease, you don't want to have to go to a DocuSign. You want to be able to submit your application fee, and go sign your lease right there and keep it all in. So that's what I love about Nexodus.
Do your monthly residents, do they get credits toward co-working, or is that all completely separate?
When you live at Connect, like say you sign a lease, you actually get a floating membership included, so you get access to that facility 24 hours a day. Okay. Then we give discounts if they want to upgrade to a dock desk, or if they're going to get a private office pod for their small team. And they get like a 20% discount if they want to get a 4-desk office space.
And then people off the street can just contract for whatever they want.
Right, and then if a day pass is $40, and that gets you access to the fitness, the pool, the amenities, and a full day pass with Wi-Fi and coffee, and a really beautiful place to work instead of a Panera, for in a crowded place.
So I'm going to jump ahead since we're talking about it, just kind of the value to the customer. You started talking about some of the things that are on this list here, that they're inclusive of someone who's subscribing. So maybe kind of walk through these different items that are, remember, you just talked about some of them.
And I love putting these together for all of our properties because it's really, you can see like the value check. And at the bottom there, if anybody takes a picture of it, we kind of calculated around $3,209 a month that you can just spend on stuff. And at Connect, what we're trying to put everything all under one roof for one price. If you see like a furnished studio would be around like say $1,450 for a furnished studio with a co-working space, national access to any Connect that you travel, and then you have a washer and dryer, high-speed Wi-Fi, daily craft coffee. We add on yoga fitness classes and boutique, like Barry's boot camp kind of fitness. That's included. You don't have to leave the building to go to Orange Theory and pay, I think I did that for a year, it was $100 and something a month. Furniture rentals and logistics. I mean, we've all moved and had to coordinate furniture. It's such a hassle. And the management company says, oh, okay, you can go to court. And then you have to manage it, pay for a furnished 1-bedroom. That can add on thousands of dollars for a month. And then you have to coordinate it all. And moving is one of the most stressful things you do in life. So here we're like, everything's all under one roof for one cost. And you add on your parking and, our internet chargeback, and it's around $115 versus $3,000 and something you would spend over a course of a month. And over a course of the year, that's close to $16,000 on top of your monthly spend for your rent.
Right.
So I love putting that value check together just so everybody knows the worth and what you're getting for the value.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the co-living. This is where we're going to deviate a little bit from shared spaces just briefly, because I know this was something that was of interest to people as they were doing the tour last night, as they walked into a 3-bedroom apartment, and everyone else was like, wait, what?
Right.
Are we in dorms again? And the answer is pretty much, but there's using technology to make this more convenient. So can you tell us about how the technology enables something like this you don't see as much anymore for professional upscale living?
Yeah, and when people are like, I need a 2-bedroom, and we do studios, 1 bedrooms, and 3-bedroom, 3 baths. And when you look at them, whoever was there yesterday, you'll see that it's designed for roommates. It's not really designed to have an extra office. It's, you have your bedroom and bathroom, and then you share the common spaces. So this is another way that we're incorporating shared space under one roof. So you get this really good price point. I mean, $13.50 for a whole furnished 1-bedroom, 1 bath, and it goes up higher per floor. And you get the whole lifestyle. You get a membership. You have your co-working. But it's a great crash pad for these traveling nurses, these pilots, flight attendants, that aren't always home. And the technology we're using with our Salto locks, they have a QR code on their each bedroom door, so that's locked. We also teamed up with a third-party utility billing company. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the simple bills and the conservices. So it really keeps it separated. And that's what I brought in from my past student housing experience, that we still keep it individualized. So you really only have to worry about yourself. And
so is it slicing up into thirds?
Yes, that's what the third party does.
Okay.
So your electricity, your water, trash, sewer, waste, all bundled into one lump sum, and it's billed through simple bills. And each person that comes in, they can divide it into 3 separate things. So if we live together, I don't know you, you're not gonna go get the electric bill in your name, and we all bill it back. So Simple Bills does that individually, because they work with a lot of student housing providers.
And I think it's really interesting too. We're talking a lot about young professionals as kind of the demographic that I see looking at this. But I recently read a really fascinating book I recommend to everyone called Being Mortal. It was incredible, but it's about aging in the United States. So I would really be impressed to think about here how this would look for senior living, or even for communities that more cater to an older audience. I would love to think that my dad or my mom were living in an area where they had built-in community, because that has such an impact on you as you age. So I look forward to seeing this same model implemented in other areas.
Right. And having the furnished capability to it as well.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of wear and tear on your apartments, because we do focus on a lot of short-term rentals. We do as low as 30 days. And here in Phoenix, we just launched the hoteling, where you can actually do nightly hoteling. So
tell us a bit about that, the hotels. You had a whole floor right now
Yes.
that is available for hoteling.
Right, so we started with 7 units here in Phoenix that we got permitted, and we partnered up with Front Desk. It's a company that is running our hoteling software right now. So they do the cleanings, the turns, the background screenings, the communication, while we're learning and dabbling all of our SOPs, because eventually we will open this up to the entire building where residents can make money on their rent when they travel. That's another huge component of Connect under our business model. Nashville changed legislation for short-term rentals during construction, so we are working closely with them. But we still do as low as 30-day rentals there with a premium. And so we never really try to turn anybody away. But here in Phoenix, we launched it in July. We've had over 170 bookings just on Airbnb alone, and we've done very little marketing on it. And our average stay is about 2 days out of the week. With the Super Bowl coming, the company Front Desk is very ahead of the game. So, of course, I'm like, what are we charging for Super Bowl? It better not be $89 a night. So they're already ahead of that, and then we get the reporting from them as well. Eventually, we will be wanting to do this in-house. And I think a lot of developers and property management companies in multifamily, let's be honest, people are already doing this illegally. So we are creating a safe and structured way with also monetization on it, where people are being background screened. They have great communication. We know who's in our building, and we know who has access. So that's the hoteling that we have now. And our partner, we designed it with toiletries and, edibles and not like edibles.
Oh, really?
Sales went through the
Edibles,
roof.
like your coffee and, snacks and things like that, and hair dryers. Maybe Denver, I mean, we'll see. But
I think it's here too.
So you can have a resident who, say, is like a professional consultant who's doing traveling. So they may be in their unit Saturday, Sunday, but then Monday morning they're heading to the airport and they're going to be gone for Friday. They could have their room or their apartment set up so that it's
Yes.
open and that someone could rent it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they're making back some of their rent.
Yes, exactly. And so this is why we're starting with 7 units here, outfitting it. It has to be a furnished Connect apartment.
Right.
And there's going to be limitations on the renter. So maybe it's 180 days out of the calendar year that they can home share their apartment. And then we'll have a terms and agreement. They have to permit their apartment. Follow all the rules and procedures. So that's why we're starting here, and we launched it in July. And we're seeing that it's just with very little marketing. I mean, it was full last night. I wanted to show one, and they were all booked. So with the really short-term rentals and the furnished apartments, just going back to the 55 and older, I love that idea because it's not going to be a lot of wear and tear on your apartments because you're not moving a lot of furniture. It's already in there. You're just going to be painting and maintaining the apartment for these short turns.
And you're making it as turnkey as possible for your residents so they can capture. And you've got some type of profit share in with that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. So, is it going to be 60-40, 70-30? Because eventually when we're managing the residents that are traveling and making money, we're going to be doing the communication, the parking, the access, somebody gets locked out, things like that. So going back to these smart locks is something that, we're going to have to really, really heavily invest in as well. We have our Salto key cards that we made that look like a hotel key, but you can also use your Bluetooth phone. So lots of still things that we're figuring out and putting all this under one roof, but we're doing it. So yeah.
And it is already happening. I think that's the benefit.
And it's happening, yeah.
Right?
A lot of people have been talking about wanting to, let's do home share and make room and do co-working and co-living. It's like, but here we are doing it. And I feel like Connect has kind of been a forefront of that for the past 8 years now. And here it is in action.
So thanks for your patience as we kind of made this a little bit the Carol show.
Sorry, I didn't mean that.
But we think that there's some really interesting things they're doing here and some of the technology behind the scenes that is relevant and that you can start thinking about how might you be able to incorporate some of this into your own models as you're looking out into the future. So as we kind of, you had some questions too here. I forgot about these. So this is a survey question that Carol put together, just talking about the value that their residents are experiencing in this. So the first question, when having friends over, what are you most excited to show them at our community? And the first one is to tour them around the amenities, just given the same tour that you received last night. Second was the view. Certainly, I was taking pictures from the windows last night. Walking distance to our favorite hangouts. And then just their room themselves, their home. Other question there at the bottom, to better understand your needs, what do you value most about being a resident here? Number one being value for the price. Is that what they're getting for the price, even though it is what many would consider a premium price,
Sure.
but there's a lot of value that they
Underneath,
perceive
right.
as a result. Second largest one is keeping the community clean. And then management communication scores very high, and then more exclusive perks, discounts, and resources. So definitely some good feedback from residents who are experiencing this kind of new style and creative, innovative way of living. So we kind of we got about 3 minutes left here. What is on the horizon? What do you think when it comes to shared spaces? What are some things that you hope to see in the future, or that you think are going to happen, that you've got rumbling in the future?
Can I take that
Yes.
first? So I saw that question about what are you most excited about to show when people come over, and they said the amenities. So I can't help but think as we look forward to having more shared spaces that we'll see more micro units. I was just reading an article about new units that are being leased in Japan that are 96 square feet. And one of the things that drives this is that you don't have people over because you have spaces that you can take your guests. So your guests don't come to your home. And I think that will be something that continues to drive trends here in the United States, right? We always think about how we are entertaining our friends or having people over. And if we no longer need to have them over because there's a spot to hang out outside of our home, that could really shift what we do. If we have more shared spaces that are open and more communal living, co-living type spaces, that we'll be able to see these units get smaller and smaller, and it'll really drive innovation for us.
We haven't talked about pets at all, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
kind of interesting, but not just dog parks, but pet washing stations, WAG, and other third-party services that do pet care. I think we'll see a lot more of that.
I saw a resident last night bringing his dog in and out of Connect.
Yeah, I paid all those models last night to be there. I'm just joking. It was really the residents using the space. One guy had a steak in the elevator. I was like, that's great. For me, what's on the horizon, I think, is food pickup solutions. I'm actually have demos right now with Minnow Food Pod. I'm not sure if anybody's using those in their buildings yet, but you know, we spend millions of dollars on these lobbies, and here come all these food delivery, you know, just from a certain time of the day or packages. So having great solutions for food delivery and package solutions. We incorporate white glove package delivery. Our concierges actually deliver packages twice a day, 6 days a week to their doors, and people can opt out of that if they want. But having, you know, a food pickup solution and something that's beautiful and cool that the drivers can put food pickups deliveries in, and where it's safe and it keeps the food hot and cold. There's actually FDA regulations I just learned about coming out, because there's really no monitoring of these food deliveries and how long it's staying cold or hot. And that's why I'm partnering with Minnow Food Pod, because it's insulated, and it's beautiful, and it's a QR code. It pops open a little cubby and it just cleans up your entire lobby. So food delivery solutions.
And I think just communal spaces, so depending on market. So in Seattle, we have a really cool little bike lounge. So it's TV, lockers, bike repair station, shower, those types of things. So it's right off the bike storage. So you have bike storage, bring your bike out. You can sit there, work on your bike, hang out with friends, all that, go on rides together, because it backs up to a trail. So I think just different communal amenities that you have that are kind of market specific.
An increase of shared, you were talking about having a kayak where other people could like rent the kayak,
Right.
and the Austin night in me was like, what's that? Yeah. Stand-up paddleboarding and kayaks and sharing those pieces of equipment. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, if you can please join me in a round of applause for our panelists today.